way I'm shooting, my recruiter is from Big State. The way I'm balling, I should probably have a mixtape. Feds on production. Baby help me count it, plus her head on concussion. Know they hate to see it cause the gang so lit. Thick rope, made my son think he can swing on it. And I ain't gon' spit lest it come with a price. You bang on Mitch, better run for your life cause it's tragic. But it was cool while it lasted. Go stuffing with his partner, save up on the cash. To my brody on 10. Clearing out the crowd like they know we gon' win. Know the feeling ain't the same when we touch. I'm still tripping off a cane and a crutch.
Welcome to Old Man Sports Talk. I'm your host, Old Man Nate. And it's that time of year again where the Sooners and the Longhorns invade the Texas State Fair in Dallas, Texas. If you've never been to the Texas State Fair, that's the first thing you need to do is go enjoy the biggest state fair in the country. They've got something for everyone. If you like food, they got it. If you like rides, they got it. If you like animals, they got it. You like concerts, they got it. So go enjoy it. It's huge. You really can't see it all in one day unless you get there when the gates open and you go and you leave when gates are closed. It's going to take you all day to see everything. It's like going to Disney World. Only you can't see everything in Disney World either, but yeah, it's not as big as Disney World, but it's a good time. So go enjoy it. And then inside the State Fair, they have the Cotton Bowl football stadium where the Sooners and Longhorns face off every year for annual rivalry. Voted by CBS this week as the best college football rivalry in the country. That's right, Bama fans and Auburn fans. Sorry to disappoint you, but it's not just the Sooners and Longhorns saying that's the best rivalry. CBS also saying it. Sorry, Ohio State, Michigan fans. It's not just the Sooners and Longhorns saying it's the best rivalry. So is CBS. Let's not forget about you, Georgia and Florida. I know you guys have that cocktail party in Jacksonville every year, or it may have been switched up to home and home. But anyhow, y'all didn't get voted the best either. The Sooners and Longhorns did. So let's talk about the game this year. Number 1, Texas Longhorns. Number 18, Oklahoma Sooners. Going to lock it up at 2:30 p.m. at the Cotton Bowl tomorrow. It's going to be a classic. I can already tell you. This ain't number 1, number 18, that's not the best seedings. You know, we've had a 1 versus 5. In 2008, the Sooners ranked number 1, the Longhorns ranked number 5, and the Longhorns walked away with the win that weekend, 45-35. But the Sooners got the last laugh as they ended up playing for the Big 12 championship and winning it when there was a 3-way tie that year between OU, Texas, and Texas Tech. Each one of them beat each other, but since the Sooners were ranked highest at the end of the season, they got to play in that Big 12 championship, won it, then also played for the BCS championship that year, losing to the Florida Gators. So there's been 1984, I believe it was 1 versus 2, and that ended up in a tie where the Sooners got cheated. The dang refs had their blindfolds on, couldn't see that or didn't call that interception or the fumble in the same drive where Texas ended up kicking a field goal to tie the game. And back in 84, games ended at ties. If it was tied, it ended. It's over with. They didn't have overtime. So there's been some really good matchups where both teams were ranked in the top 25 or ranked high. But this year, the Longhorns look on paper like by far the best team of the two and one of the best teams in the country. All right. The Sooners have been struggling. The Longhorns have not. Even with Ewers going down, their backup quarterback, Archie Manning, stepped in and looked like he should be the starter. Now, one would argue, have the Longhorns even been tested? Have they played anybody that's, a good football team? Have they played a good football team? And some people will argue, well, they went to Michigan and won. The defending national champion. That is correct. They did go to Ann Arbor, Michigan and beat the defending national champions. However, that team in Ann Arbor, Michigan is not at the same caliber level as the national championship team was from last year. And really, you've seen my rankings. Not once this year have I had Michigan, not preseason, not anytime during the season, have I had Michigan ranked in the top 25. It's not because I'm a Michigan hater. I actually like Michigan. Was rooting for them last year in the national championship. But I knew when you lose everybody that you lost, you had two starters returning on offense. Two. And one of them was not the quarterback. Quarterback's a big deal. And you lost your head coach. That's a big deal. You lost a lot. And you still haven't found out what you are, but you still want to run the ball like Michigan normally does, but you don't have a quarterback that can throw it. And you got to have somebody that can at least throw a 10-yard out. So have the Longhorns played anybody? I say no. Honestly, the Sooners are going to be the best team that the Longhorns have faced this year so far. Okay? Now, I'm saying so far, not for the whole year. They play Georgia next week, and Georgia's ranked number 2, I think. No, they lost. I think they're top 5 still. But anyhow, what do we expect from the Longhorns? The Longhorns offensively should be good. Okay. Quinn Ewers is back. They got, they've been banged up in running backs. I believe Blue is going to be playing. I know he got hurt one game this year, but I believe he even came back in that game. Might have been Michigan where he got banged up. I think it was Michigan where he got banged up but came back in. So, but he should be good. The offensive line for the Longhorns is really good. Receivers, new receiving core, but they got the speed still. So the Sooners are going to have to be able to play against that speed. Defensively, the defense actually is probably better than it was last year. They've got more talent than they did last year. But again, have they played? They haven't played an offense yet. They can move the ball. Now, can the Sooners move the ball? We'll get to the Sooners in a second. But they have not played an offense. Michigan just likes to run the ball. When when a team primarily wants to run the ball, they're pretty easy to shut down. If a team primarily wants to pass the ball, they're difficult to still shut down. Okay. When you're balanced, you're a lot more difficult to slow down. So, I just think Texas defense is better than it was last year, but they haven't. I think they are. I don't know because they haven't played anybody that would make me be convinced that they are. I'll put it that way. Okay. For the Sooners coming in 4-1, ranked number 18. Their only loss coming at home to a highly ranked Tennessee team. Now Tennessee lost to Arkansas last week, but they're still top 15 team. All right, I think Tennessee's like 15 or 12 or something like that. I need to look at it. I really didn't look at the rankings this week, but I think that Tennessee's in that 12 to 15 range. So, offensively, the Sooners have struggled. Okay, they benched their starting quarterback Jackson Arnold, their 5-star high school Gatorade National Player of the Year coming out of high school quarterback, Jackson Arnold, week 3 against Tennessee, or week 4 against Tennessee. And it was the right move at the time for sure. Okay. Is it a permanent benching? I think really it's really up to Hawkins. If Hawkins, who's the now starting quarterback, just continues to be successful, then he'll stay. He'll keep the job. But if he starts to struggle, then you could see Jackson Arnold come back in and see if he can change the pace a little bit. All right. I don't think it's a permanent, like as in Jackson Arnold has no chance of playing again for the Sooners. All right. Matter of fact, this week you might even see, I'm not calling it, but you might see some packages for him. All right. But why he got benched is why I say might. Okay. He looked, and this is a big game against Tennessee. Like he's been struggling all season, but against Tennessee, he looked really scared, to be honest with you. He looked way too nervous. He made decisions that caused turnovers, cost points for the Sooners, and overall cost them the game. Yes, Jackson Arnold himself cost the Sooners the game, despite the offensive line being beat up, despite the wide receiving crew being beat up, despite the offensive coordinator who can't call a play to save his life. Jackson Arnold is the one reason they lost the game against Tennessee. 2 big plays. The defense creates turnovers. The very next play, Jackson Arnold turned the ball back over to Tennessee. One of them, we had the ball on the Tennessee 5-yard line. And if he pitches the ball to the running back, Barnes walks into the end zone. He was that wide open. But instead, he chose to keep it, got hit at the probably 3-yard line, and fumbled the ball. And Tennessee got it. And then right before the half, or next to last possession of the half, even Venables basically called him out on it. He threw a lateral pass when that wasn't even an option on the play. It was not an option to throw the ball over there. He was just so rattled and scared and confused. He ran plays that weren't even called, and it got him benched. Now, that was a big game. Maybe it was too big of a game for him. And that's why I say maybe Jackson Arnold will come back in if you see Hawkins struggle. It might be Casey Thompson to come in. Casey Thompson has played in this game before on the other sideline for the Texas Longhorns. And he caught that L by the Sooners. Maybe he can lead the Sooners to a win over his former team. But I don't expect him to play unless Hawkins struggles, okay? And I'm not even saying Casey will be in over Arnold. I think Casey's really took a role on as just being a mentor to these quarterbacks. And, hopefully, just keep, he can keep Hawkins under control, right? Hawkins has been somewhat impressive, okay? I won't say he's like looking like an all-star out there, but the number one thing he's done is he has not turned the ball over, okay? In 2.5 games. Let's see, 1.5 game. I'm sorry. In 1.5 game against Auburn, and then the second half against Tennessee, he did not turn the ball over. So, and that's what, caught both of those games we had to rally from behind. Now against Tennessee, we didn't quite make up the difference. We did make a nice rally and pull within 10 points. And against Auburn, we made a nice comeback. Defense helped out too. But he got it going with a long pass, and then we walk in for a touchdown. So offensively, we've struggled. We've done a lot better with Hawkins under there. We've mixed it up. We haven't turned the ball over. Ran the ball. Offensive line looked a lot better against Auburn. Tennessee looked horrible. I don't think a running back made it back to the line of scrimmage without being touched against Tennessee. And when they went up the middle. Now, it went outside. Yeah, we had some success. But up the middle, we didn't. Auburn, we didn't like break anything. In fact, we didn't. Probably the longest run might have been 4 or 5 yards up the middle, but that's still better than what we had against Tennessee. And of course, Hawkins ran that first series, ran a draw up the middle for that 60-yard touchdown run, which was the only time we ran it the whole game. So I'm not even sure if it was really a play call or if it just improvised. But anyhow, offense is at least got to move the ball, keep the defense off the field, win the time possession battle. In history of this ball game is the last 15 years, I believe, whoever has won the rushing battle has won the ball game. So that doesn't look like in favor of the Sooners, but they've got to try and win it. Okay. I don't think Texas defensive line is as good as it was last year, but I don't think our offensive line is as good as it was last year either. So I think that we just need to, we don't have to run up the middle every time. Run them outside, run some draws, run some screens, that sort of thing. Defensively, this is the best defensive unit the Sooners have had since 2000. That's right, since our national championship team. Even better when in 2004 with Tommy Harris and Dusty Dvorak on the defensive line, Teddy Lehman, a linebacker. Even better than Roy Williams on the 2001 team. But 2001 team was good too, or the 2001 team was good too, but 2000 I think is the better team. And it's not just Danny Stutzman's the leader of that team, Billy Bowman's the leader of the secondary, but it's not just them two, right? Spears is playing awesome. Dominic Williams, even though he doesn't look like he's getting a lot of tackles, he's doing his job and making offensive lines double team. And that's freeing up linebackers. It's freeing up another defensive lineman to make tackles. Tennessee couldn't run the ball, okay? Go back and look at the stats in that game. The reason that OU was successful is they was able to stop the Tennessee run. And before anybody says, oh, they were just trying to take it easy on the Sooners, no. Go back and look at every game from Tennessee this season. There's only one game where they didn't run the ball 50 times and throw it between 27 and 30. And that was against Chattanooga. They threw the ball 50 times in that game. But everybody else, they try to run first. And then run it 50 times a game. They ran it 52 against OU. But only OU held them to 2 yards a carry. And their longest run was 17 yards. Okay, so OU kept their running game in check. I think they'll do the same thing against Texas. Okay, OU's defensive line, their front seven, their linebackers are good enough to stop the run. They're also quick enough to look like they're in run defense and then backpedal out. As you see Kip Lewis make when he got the Auburn quarterback off guard, thought he was coming in, engaged, dropped back, and got the interception. He ran back for a touchdown. These are schemes that OU, that was not a fluke. That was a planned defense. Those are the things that Texas is going to have to look out for. Their defense is really, really good. Like I said, the best defense since 2000. And this is what I think has to happen for the Sooners to win. Like I said, on paper, Texas offense against OU's defense, that's going to be pretty much even. But OU's offense against Texas defense, I would give the edge to Texas. Sorry about that. I'd give the edge to Texas offense or Texas defense. I'm sorry. Special teams. Actually, I haven't even heard if our kickers. Actually, he went on the injury report. So yeah, our kicker must be back. And the dude's got a leg. He can kick it 55, 60 yards. Okay. I'm not sure how good Texas kicker is. I haven't looked at that. So our punter's really good. So I don't know who has the advantage in that. I'll be honest with you. I did not look at that to see who would have the advantage on kicking the ball. Return wise, I don't know. We haven't ran anything back. I'm not sure if they have. So my keys for the Sooners to win. Okay, for the Sooners to win, I believe they have to play defense exactly, or they have to play as good as a defense tomorrow as they did against Tennessee. Okay, if they play as good a defense against Tennessee and create turnovers, and then the offense turns those turnovers into points, especially touchdowns, they'll have a really good chance to win. Okay. If the Sooner defense can hold Texas to 21 points or less, the Sooners win. And that also, by going off that, I'm saying we're creating the turnover, put them in points, and that takes a lot of pressure off the offense. Even if it's the defense getting a pick six or a fumble for a touchdown or special teams for a touchdown. Okay. All that takes pressure off the offense. Then all they have to do is just, move the ball, take time off the clock. And then if you're just kicking field goals, it's a lot easier ball game to win. So I'm right now, the 14.5 point favorite is the Texas Longhorns. I will say this. If I'm a betting man on this game, I would bet on two things. The over-under is 49. I would bet on the under. And I would pick Oklahoma at 14.5. Okay. And here's the reason why on the point spread, at least. In 13 times that there's been 13 times that there's one of the teams has been a double-digit favorite point spread wise, okay, from Vegas. 10 of those 13, the underdog covered. 5 out of those 10 that was covered, the underdog won. So it's really about a 40% chance just by saying that the Sooners will win the game. And then there's about an 85% chance they cover. So that's why I said I'd take, if I was a bet man, I would take the Sooners 14.5. And then the over under, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. And that's why I picked the under. At 49, I think it's a little too high. And here's my prediction for the Sooners tomorrow. I think the Sooners defense shows up and shows out. Creates turnovers. Ewers, remember, had 3 turnovers himself last year, 2 interceptions and a key fumble. Well, I say a key fumble. It was at midfield. The Sooners didn't get no points off of it, but it was still a fumble. I think Ewers will be a little rusty, not looking like, Jackson Arnold has it or anything like that. But if the Longhorns don't, like, remember last year, the first series, second play, he throws the interception. Sooners go down and take the lead. It's 7-0. Next series, they drive down the field, hit Sanders, their tight end, right in front of the goal line. Billy Bowman hits him right in the chest. Ball pops out, interception. First 2 series, he threw 2 picks. Now, the last one really wasn't his fault. But that first one was his fault. And, the Texas Longhorns battled back. But those turnovers are big keys to winning the game. You got to take care of the ball. And I think the Sooners will create turnovers. again tomorrow. Our defense is better than it was last year. Texas offense is not as good as it was last year. It's good, but it's not as good. So I feel like the Sooners go in to Dallas and head back home, Norman, with the golden hat. I got the Sooners winning 24-21. That's under the 49 at 45, covering the 14.5. And heck, you might even put on the money line. No, I'm not telling you to put the money line. But if you hit the money line and wins, you're probably gonna win a lot of money. So anyhow, that's my prediction. Or that's what my prediction the Sooners have to do to win. I think they go out and do it. I think we're ready. Both teams had a bye last week, but I think the Sooners are ready. They're motivated. They realize this is a make or break game right here. You lose this game, you may not, other than Maine, you may not win another conference game. Well, Maine's not a conference, but you may not win another conference game if you don't win this one. If you win this one, you can get momentum going, and who knows what happened. You know, winning 2 conference games in a row, on the road at Auburn, down in Big D, your big rivalry. You got South Carolina next week. South Carolina not the best team, but they're coming in Norman. You know, you can just get the ball rolling. Then you got Ole Miss, Missouri. So, yeah. Finish up the conference at home against Alabama and then on the road at LSU. All of those games are games that you could win or lose right now. And a big win down in Dallas will give you momentum to go right into your conference schedule, which you need in heading in that schedule. A loss, you might lose them all. The momentum goes downhill. I don't know. It'd be tough. Be tough to bounce back from. Now, if you go in there and you play a good game, lose a close one, okay, because Texas on paper is way better than Oklahoma. If you go out there and get blown out, man, them heads are going to be low. We don't need no 49 nothing like we were 2 years ago, but that was when we didn't have a quarterback. We're playing what's that called? Wildcat. We're doing a Wildcat half the day. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys all for watching and tuning in. Let me know what you think in comments. You think old man Nate is full of crap, or you think he's right on the money? Let me know. Also, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That way you get notified every time old man Nate goes live or drops a video. We'll be back next week. We're going to do our top 25 around Monday night. We'll probably release on Tuesday. But I appreciate you all for dialing in. And root for them Sooners tomorrow. Boomer.